Peace, peace, peace. Hope everyone's doing well. And always glory to the Most High. So, this is just what comes to me, so I'm just going to share it. And you know who you are. This is, for you who resonate. Okay, so, yeah, we're back at this again. Ma'aT. This is Ma'aT. Tiamat is Ma'aT. Okay. So Humpty Dumpty put her back together again. This is just things that have been coming to me. All the king horses, all the king men, right? Put her back together again. Tiamat. Ma'aT. I see Ma'aT right away out of this. Almost like, how did I miss that before? With two T's. Okay, so look at with. It's still Ma'aT. You still have the Ma'aT. In Greek, maybe this means something. I'm sure it does. Maybe even in Sumerian and the Hebrews. Okay, so if you don't know who Tiamat is, this is about Tiamat. And the dragon. She's the dragon. She's the mother of all. Not some, not sort of. She's the mother of all. Okay, from chaos to creation, I was getting putting her back together again. I was getting actually instead of Revelations, and she's in that, I was getting regeneration, Genesis. Great mother, Tiamat, would bring what? Great balance, which would be Ma'aT, which would be the scales. She would be all of them. So if you don't know who Tiamat is, she's a Sumerian queen. She is the mother of all. We're all made of her. And that's just the way it is. So she's a dragon, because you're on a piece of a dragon. You're also surrounded by Leviathan's skin as well. That's what the veil is made out of, Leviathan's skin. So let's just look up Tiamat. For those who don't know, the wind is really going crazy here. It's hard because most of this stuff is, I really like to look up the proto-dragon from Mesopotamia. Let's see. And would be Tiamat. I've actually captured this in the veil. I have pictures of that. Legit pictures of that. So what I say is real. It's not fantasy, man. Okay, so according to the Babylonians, a dragon with a very thin, scaly body at the head and the neck, the long-tailed lion-like arms, okay, and the eagle legs to make this creature more intimidating. It had horns, ears, and eventually wings as well. She's a Mesopotamian dragon, is a symbol of the ancient Mesopotamia hero deity Marduk. If you don't know the story, Marduk, he created heaven and earth with Tiamat. After victories of the Babylonian kingdom, Marduk was the offspring of Enki, two primordial deities. They created the earth. Okay, so there's a reason why I'm doing this. They're putting her back together again. And they are. So that kind of goes along with her core, right? Should have a false core. All this pop-up crap. The core, which many think that they've been seeing. See, we've been filming these. This is significant, actually. This is Marduk, father of the gods, patron of Babylon, the servant at his feet. And believe me, this is all connected. This is what all your Bibles are based off of. 11 children of Tiamat. All right, let's read that. Ishtar Gate. Hold on, let's go back for a second. Ishtar Gate is one of the gates surrounding a much larger city structure. It was said to have been built in 575 by King Nebu something or other, in order to encircle and protect the city of Babylon. Not only did this add, because we have, excuse me, we have Inanna here too, Venus. As Inanna, Venus, Inanna would be like considered morning star. Also added the magnificence of the city, legendary status, part of the most extraordinary. Blah, blah. Ishtar's gate can be found at the base of it and covered with figures of bulls, lions, plants, and dragons. See the theme here? Dragons in Babylon. It's clear that I don't even know how to say this name, Meshuhu, held a special place in Babylonian culture and the creation and mythology, which seems to be buried in our world, but hey, we're all figuring it out as we go. Babylon is not a myth. You live in Babylon. Tiamat is a primordial goddess of water, the mother dragon of monsters, which makes the mother, whatever, Tiamat. The three of these dragons hold high dignity. Mishamahu, Basmu, and I can't even say the other one. The legends claim that these dragons were three-horned and were slain by the Sumerian deity of farming Ninurta. Thus it has been suggested that these dragons were the inspiration for the ancient Greek three-headed dog. Interesting. Many Mesopotamian Babylonian monsters were also seen as constellations. One of the most famous ones, the earliest ones, was the constellation Basmu. The ancient Greece, the constellation was interpreted as Hydra. When this constellation is seen, it can look as if it's a snake, a fish, a lion, and an eagle are all joined together. For Mesopotamian people, the dragon was a sign of a snake demon or snake god because of their hybrid features that were mixed across a variety of animals. So that should tell you we're hybrid creatures. Most things are hybrid here. This is how the myths were propagated and developed. For example, Tishpak, the advisory in opposition of Ma'aT, was often depicted as a slender snake dragon. Got a lot of different dragons here. You got to know what dragons you're dealing with. Or not, but this is for those who know that you're filming dragons and you know this stuff is going on. Enuma Elish, the legend of Kalbu myth, its creation, the cosmos, and all nature. Scholars believed that Kalbu was the original version of Tiamat and the mother, whoever that is. In a later version, the same myth, Kalbu was created by Enlil, the god of wind. Enlil created Labu in order to destroy humans because they disturbed his sleep. This is who, is coming back, will be Enlil. Not a nice being. The Epic of Gilgamesh, mankind's first story. Uruk, the first great city, and leap forward in humankind. Okay, so the other gods were also terrified of Labu, that they begged the god of chaos, Tishpak, to defeat it, and legend claims that this took 3 years for Labu to bleed out. So, you have to understand, well, maybe you don't have to understand, but we're on a bunch of dragons. We live on dragons. This bleeding out, Mud Fossil University, proves this all the time. Tishpak had attacked him and it had been noticed. I wonder if that's the dragon he's noticed. It has been noted that Labu and Marduk are very similar. Thus, this is not surprising that the Marduk dragon, I don't even know how to say this name, has become the symbol of the deity Tishpak, and he was the opposite of a. So what do you, let's look you up. Can I look you up? Come on, let's look you up. Mesopotamian god associated with the ancient city Ashnuna. It is a sphere of influx located in Iraq. He was a war deity. I think we're really on Mars, man. This whole place is war. Kingship was the Sumerian or Akkadian origin displaced Ashnuna's original god Nanuzi. Okay, similar myths. Well, he's interested in looking. In the Vedas, the collective of Sanskrit poems, there exists a similar monster of myth known as Vrishni. ITRA, and was a snake dragon that represented times of drought. Researchers have often pointed to the fact, I mean, we're probably misreading all this crap that's here. I gotta be honest with you. Like, you have to understand, these are beings that were in a different time with symbolism meant something completely different. We see something as a snake, maybe that didn't mean a snake. Maybe that meant something like a drought, and you're in the land of deceit. So a lot of things are gonna get mixed up. So you just gotta use your discernment, or don't. This is a specific type of demigod or titan that is always hungry and is often recorded as being power-hungry, selfish, and cruel. In legend, Ritra is the defeated by Indra, the Hindu god of heaven and leader of all other gods. The story bears a remarkable resemblance to, it's the same story rewritten in different beliefs. Dragons have been seen in cultures all around the world. One place they have been significant is China. The best known symbol of the emperor has been the dragon who breathed fire. So the ancient China was believed the dragon was responsible for many natural disasters such as harsh weather, earthquakes. Even for China's today, the dragon still features the calendar and makes an appearance during New Year's festivities. The main dragon of China has been named Nian. At the end of every year, legend would have it that Nian would terrorize the local villages. In order to prevent this, the villagers would make loud noises, wear flashy costumes, and use bright lights as well as fireworks. Interesting. And this tradition that has continued today. So my point of this is putting her back together again. All the king's horses and all the king's men put her back together again. And that's just what came to me. And I was sitting here and I was like, oh my God. She's like regenerating. I think it's a regeneration, not revelations. I'm not trying to recreate anything here. I'm not trying to rewrite anything here. I'm not trying to change anyone's beliefs. That you believe what you want, man. It is all good with me. This is just stuff that comes to me, that makes sense to me, and I share it for those who it makes sense to as well. And if it doesn't, just keep it going. So all the king's horses and all the king's men, all these stories are about Tiamat. Off with her head, off with their head. That has been a theme on these lands for eons, is off with their head, right? Because that power holds great power, holds knowledge. The brain holds knowledge. It's your connection to, your God center, if you will. Your body, your spinal column, in your brain, in your eye of Horus, that would be your staff of knowledge, gained or lost or whatever. So I want to see, I think she has, I can't remember, crap. I think she's a 10-headed dragon. I thought she was a 7-headed with 10 crowns or something like that, and moons, and I have to look that up. I should know that, because I've done stuff on Tiamat before. Just a lot of stuff goes through my brain. So, her children are waking. And they are. Her children are waking. Starseeds are waking up. So she's slain by Inky Sun. I know that. Marduk. She brings forth the monsters of Mesopotamia and the Pantheon. I was getting that earlier too about the Pantheon, including the first dragons whose bodies she's filled with poison instead of blood. Marduk then integrates elements of her body into the heavens and the earth. Some sources have identified her without real proof with images of the sea serpent and the dragon. Yep. Well, I mean, there is proof. I honestly have I have pictures of a huge spine and rib cage in the southern sky. It's the entire sky, and that goes along with what's written in scripture about we're surrounded by dragon scales, which would be Leviathan. And that's honestly somehow, some weird way, it protects us through, I don't know, whatever we go through. It's all connected, and it is. Maybe they're all the same, because I think she's the primordial dragon, so she would be the alpha dragon, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I'm not an expert at this by any means. It's just pieces I'm putting together for me to understand, like I said. So I was just really trying to mix in the waters, as though the female deities are older than the male ones. That's why with the... Oh, okay. one comes in before the other. The feminine, not always, but the feminine's always older than the male with these certain soul connections coming in, maybe both. I don't know. Maybe the male's older than the female, but this just kind of goes along with that. Tiamat may have begun as part of the Namu, female principle, watery creative force, equally strong connectors. And she predates Inky, clearly. The mixing of the waters, which that would be our DNA, our RNA and DNA, the mixing of waters. The waters are us. I'm just documenting this, you know what I mean? If you watch this, great. Thank you for taking time to listen. If you don't, that's okay too. I'm just trying to find... I can't remember. I'm pretty sure she's the seven-headed dragon. And then they're all dragons, man. Like I've been saying, it's a battle of dragons. They're all dragons. Ra's a dragon. Christ is a dragon. Thoth is a dragon. Thoth is a two-headed dragon. And then you have, I think it's Anpu, which is weird because NASA's labeled their mission after the deity of pretty much destruction. So that, there you go with that, which would be that cobra, an ancient Egypt, it would be the cobra, which is nasty. Okay, so if you don't know, and the Lord stood upon Tiamat's hinder parts, and with his merciless club he smashed her skull. This is terrible. And he cut through her channels of her blood. So that tells you they spliced, to me, DNA and stuff like that. That's what that tells me. And to the north, wind bear it away into secret places. Slicing Tiamat in half, he made from her ribs the vault. Remember, they made Eve from what? Adam's ribs, supposedly. The rib is the RNA. It's not an actual physical. It's RNA. It's how we can reproduce and procreate. All right, slicing Tiamat in half. The vault of heaven. Her ribs are the vault of heaven, and I have pictures of that and earth. Her weeping eyes became the source of the river Euphrates and the river Tigris, and her tail became the Milky Way. With the approval of the elder deities, he took the tablet of destinies from King Gu, installing himself as the head of the Babylonian pantheon. King Gu was captured, and I'm telling you, this is a reuniting. It's a reuniting of King Gu and Tiamat. And Tiamat regenerating some weird cosmic, supernatural, spiritual way. Kingu was captured and later was slain. His red blood mixed with the red clay of the earth would make the body of humankind, created to act as a servant for the younger Igigi deities. That's interesting. I didn't know about that. The principal theme of the epic is the right, and I read a lot on these, and I always find, I'm always reading because I'm always finding new information on this. It's like, oh, that's I didn't know that was there. With the approval of the elder deities, Kingu was captured. Yep. The principal theme of the epic is the rightful elevation of Marduk to command over all the deities. It has long been realized that the Marduk epic, for all its local coloring and probable elaboration by the Babylonian theologians, reflect the substance, oldest Sumerian material, American Assyrianologist. The exact Sumerian prototype, however, has not turned up so far. This surmise that the Babylonian version of the story is based upon a modified version of the older epic, of which Enlil, not Marduk, was the god who... That makes more sense to me, honestly. It would be Enlil. I really think it's Enlil, not Marduk. I've always felt that. It didn't make sense to me about Marduk, and I could be wrong. It's all good, you know? It'll all be revealed. It was once thought the Tiamat myth was one of the earliest recorded versions. You know, they don't teach you that in school, do they? They don't teach you, hey, you live on a dragon. That's what you're made of. They kind of left that out. And all these rocks around you, they're really bones. And they got real DNA in them. They don't tell you that either. The number of writers. So anyway, I just wanted to look this up a little bit more. and document a little bit more of just putting her back together again. Leviathan is in here, see? Multi-headed dragon. Of course, from Dungeons and Dragons, but this is about putting her back together again somehow. Is this Mindy? You changed your name of your channel, so I'm just making sure. Anyway, yeah, that's why they give us these what they call nursery rhymes, because clearly we're still learning. We were wiped out. Our memory was wiped out. Our total memory was wiped out. That's what all these little stories are about. It's like a haha in your face, but you don't really know it until you start really digging. Then you're like, oh yeah, that's not so much of a nursery rhyme. That's pretty horrific, actually. So that's what I was getting. I was getting the firm, mean business, the firm, which is justice, right? And I was getting Tiamat is Ma'aT. This is some kind of Greek key or Hebrew key, prefix, suffix, root, word, I don't know, something. And then the firm, mean business. She's meaning business. Believe me, she's meaning business. Somehow is a regeneration. They named it this. Maybe it is really that. I don't know. I'm not trying to recreate diddly poo. I'm just going with I'm understanding. A regeneration, which would be Genesis. And this is why we carry all these things through our cycles of life. All of what this went down. And it's not a myth at all. I mean, I guess you can believe that. Whatever makes you feel good. But it's different. So you can look her up. It's important to know your dragons, man. And dragons are everywhere, but it is the least known creature. I guess I'm going to put it that way, for lack of we don't know a lot about dragons. They're here, as huge statues are here. We live on one, but yet there's not a lot of information on them. Isn't that interesting? Because they got buried in the deluge. How do you bury a dragon? Put a flood on it. Rebuild and let people think they're on a round ball zooming through space. I don't know, you know. But the regeneration with that, someone coming back together again. And I do believe in that. I absolutely believe that can happen. I believe any and all things are possible, and what is not possible is you're limited. Put your limited on things. It's how you limit yourself. That has been the veil the whole time, is limiting ourselves and falling into a belief system, staying asleep, trying not to stay asleep. But I'm gonna look more into this. Anyone else know anything about this, please comment respectfully, or just it'll be removed. But I was getting the firm, mean business, all the king's horses, all the king's men, put it back together again. And that would be, I'm wondering how many, and she has, I believe she's the 7-headed dragon. I know it's a 10-headed dragon. I don't know, there's a lot of dragons. Anyway, like, maybe that's the heads that we're seeing, because there's definitely a huge head over the whole eastern seaboard, by the way. And her, I don't know. It's bigger than us. It's just way bigger than us, and it's happening, and they call it, I'm sure he does. That's great for Billy Carson. Then, that's cool. I stay open to all things, not just one. But I'm sure he does. Some people have issues with him. I don't know. I don't really follow just one person. I get my information from all areas, but I'll check it out. So that's it. That's all I got. I don't even pay attention to the chat when I'm on here. No, I don't watch him. He's a bully. And I don't partake with bullies.